Welcome to the Bahamas and the 10th PokerStars.net Caribbean adventure. What started in 2004 as a tournament on a boat has grown into the biggest poker festival held outside of Las Vegas. Every January, hundreds of players and their friends and family come to Paradise Island for 10 days of poker, pools, and partying. This year, the Atlantis Resort is playing host to 40 events, including the 100K Super High Roller, the 25K 8 Game, and the world's first ever open-faced Chinese tournament. Today sees the conclusion of the prestigious main event, a 6-day $10,000 buy-in no-limit hold'em freeze-out. It attracts the game's biggest stars, showbiz greats, and sporting legends. It's a tournament that's been won by pros and amateurs. It's created millionaires and catapulted unknowns into the poker limelight. Nearly 1,000 players aimed to follow in their footsteps. There were 987 entries, creating a prize pool of more than $9.5 million. The top 144 cashed, with the top 8 advancing to the final table. Those 8 players are now set to take their seats and compete for one of the biggest titles in poker. We'll sweat every hand, study every bet, every bluff. We will witness the crowning of the 10th ever PCA main event champion. We'll see someone walk away with nearly $1.9 million. This is PCA Live on PokerStars.tv. Hello and welcome back to Paradise Island and the PokerStars.net Caribbean adventure. I'm James Hartigan with Joe Stapleton. We will see every single hand live from the PCA 10 main event. You can get in touch on Twitter, use the hashtag PCA Live, or email us nuts@PokerStars.tv. It's final table day, Joe.
Yeah, it's exciting, and if anyone was watching the last final table we did, the Super High Roller, there were some times we missed hold cards. We talked to the producers throughout the course of this tournament. Apparently everyone at the table has been doing a great job of showing their hold cards so far in this tournament, so we're expecting to have really good cards-up action for the rest of the day today.
Free roll password a bit later on. A quick reminder that we are, of course, now live courtesy of the PokerStars TV mobile app. If you want to watch the live stream on your iOS or Android device, download that app today. Watch us on the move, on your phone, on your tablet. So let's meet the 8 players who have made the final table of this prestigious tournament. Let's join our tournament announcer, Robbie Thompson.
Welcome to the 10th anniversary of the PCA. We are here at the final table of the main event. We started this event with 987 players. We're down to our final 8. So without further ado, let's meet our crew. In seat number 1, starting with $2,890,000, Jua Noguera. In seat number 2, starting with $1,995,000, Dimitar Danchev. In seat number 3, starting with $3,220,000, Andre Shatilov. In seat number 4, starting with $2,900,000, Owen Crow.
That'd be Robbie.
In seat number 5, he is our chip leader going into this final table with $7,400,000, Jerry Wong. In seat number 6, starting with $1,525,000, Jonathan Rowe. Seat number 7, starting with $6,475,000, Joel Mika. And last but not least, in seat number 8, starting with $2,535,000, Yan Dion. Antes are 5,000, small blind 30,000, big blind 60,000. Good luck, players. Dealer, shuffle up and deal, please.
Here we go. We've got a lively rail at this final table. You'll notice that we have no one at the final table under the age of 30, over the age of 30, I should say. It's a very young final table. The PCA always a young man's tournament.
PCA seniors event this year.
Plus, we've got a couple of guys who are effectively free-rolling here, Joe. We've got João Nogueira, the Portuguese player, who qualified for $1.10, right? And the Russian player, Andre Shatilov, who bought in with 750,000 FPPs.
Now, granted, he probably didn't win those FPPs in a bunch of free rolls. He's likely, I think he's a supernova, actually. But yeah, two guys who are on some serious ROI kicks right now.
And number 1 of the final table, as Robbie told you, blinds 30-60 with a 5K ante. We've got about 30 minutes left of this level. The blinds will then go up to 40-80, and the ante will double to 10,000, so a significant jump. Action's been folded round to Joel Mika. You heard his rail chanting JMP. He is JM Prodigy online. He's folded, so it's Yan Dion who gets us started with a race. Makes it 120,000. He's got pocket 9s in the cutoff. Now this guy, Dimitar Danchev, if you're a regular viewer of our live streams, you might remember him. He was the runner-up in San Remo in Season 8 to Andrei Patichuk. Asian take of the Dion on the first hand of the day.
So we think we can already start drawing conclusions from that? Semi-late position raise with 2 9s. Everyone just folds. Is it going to be a tight final table?
It's not been a tight tournament. I mean, at one stage, Joe, we were really worried it was going to conclude a day early. I mean, they were falling like flies every single step of the way.
Yeah, it's a, you know, this is a very top-heavy tournament. First guy out here makes $165,000. The winner, $1.8 million. So there is a lot of incentive just to hang around. I mean, that is a huge difference. We're talking more than 10 times from 8th to first place.
Action's been folded around to the Portuguese player, João Nogueira. He's only been playing for about 8 months, 21 years old. He's the youngest player at this table.
Do we think he's a prodigy, or do we think he luck boxed his way here?
He's raised. And we haven't seen his hole cards. Obviously, sometimes we miss them when they take a quick peek.
Owen Crow, a lot of people's picks for this event. American and Canadian players especially. I think Shane Schlager, Team Online Pro, picked Owen to win this about 3 days ago.
Owen, one of 3 Canadians at this final table.
Well, with just the 3 hearts showing, it looks like he's up to some trickery here.
It's a 3-bet from the big blind. Makes it 385,000. So quite a chunky raise.
Obviously just looking for a fold here. See if he can muscle the amateur.
This is Nogueira's first live tournament, and he will fold. And the 3-bet gets the job done for Owen Crow. So let's introduce our first guest of the day. We've got various co-commentators coming in over the course of this webcast. How long it may take to play down to a champion here in the Bahamas tonight. Let's introduce Fatima Morea de Melo from Team PokerStars Sports Star. And Fatima, you followed your deep run in EPT Barcelona with another cash on the tour here at the PCA. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. It was more of a struggle though.
Did you share a table with any of these guys at any point during the tournament?
Yeah, I think with Jerry Wong on my first day here. I don't remember much of him though. It was like, yeah, he was pretty quiet.
Did you sit to his Wong or to his white?
To his white. To his white. Depends on how you see it.
Jerry Wong coming into this final as the chip leader.
Some of those chips probably Fatima's.
Yep. So sick to know that they're still playing, you know? I was out like a couple days ago. It sucks.
So under the gun +1, Joel Mika's made it 120,000. I've never seen a rail so excited to see their player raise and take it.
Sure, they've been having some cocktails.
Yeah,
or beers.
America. Woo. Fatima, you cash in this event. Is cashing for you at this point still something to be celebrated, or is it just kind of old hat and you're kind of used to it and you're somewhat disappointed in a small cash?
Not to sound spoiled, but
yeah.
it kind of depends on how the tournament runs.
Sure.
You know, like if I
sometimes you feel lucky to have cash.
Exactly. Like I was free rolling after busting Luca Pagano with 6s versus 9s when I shoved and he reshoved and I hit my 6. So you know, you feel kind of like, wow, you know, you have to get lucky. And I was short stacking from like day 2 into day 3, and you know, like I couldn't do more with what I got and my spots and stuff. So I feel satisfied about it, but of course I'd rather be sitting there.
An early position raise from Yan Dion, 29 years old from Quebec.
I'd rather be sitting here. I'm sorry. Luckily, I have nothing to do with it.
If you want, Fatima, we can change the seating arrangement and I can act as a kind of literal chaperone.
I've only crossed into
better,
her
I
personal
think.
space 1 or 2 times, including
just
when I just
now.
said that.
You touched my hand.
Excuse me.
Small pocket pair for
Careful.
Shatilov.
I swear I wasn't going for your hand.
And he's not going to go set
What
mining
else?
here. He is going to 3-bet. Makes it 270,000. Gets rid of Crow on the bottom and Wong in the small blind.
Pretty aggressive 3-betting 2-4s against a fairly early raise.
Jonathan Roy gives up the big blind, so we're back on Dion.
We don't know too much about Dion, but I think we will learn a lot about him in this hand, particularly if he calls.
We know that his biggest cash to date was at the 2012 Aussie Millions. In the main event, he finished 7th for 170,000 Australian dollars.
He does fold.
I like it though, the 3-bet with the 4s.
Tough to justify a call there too with ace-8, so it seems
Yeah.
like everyone kind of did exactly what they're supposed to on that hand. The 3-bet 4s is pretty solid. You know, if you called, you aren't ever in terrible, you know, the worst shape you can be in,
No,
obviously.
and you're in position. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 6 more minutes on the level. Jerry Wong out in front with 122 big blinds, but Joel Mika not far behind. Jonathan Roy is the shortest stack at the table, playing 24 bigs. And the French Canadians are being railed by Jonathan Duhamel. In fact, I believe that Jonathan D was sweating Jonathan R when he won the World Poker Tour Montreal main event.
Think he might have percentage in them. Would be nice. Well,
Yeah, it's
he looks
maybe
happy. Look at him.
one of the only things that can get a poker player up before 2 p.m., especially Jonathan. My guess is he's probably sweating a piece.
I think so too.
I think Jonathan just went broke from the high roller. He had at least 2 bullets, I think. If not, it's not the Jonathan I know.
So there is the button raise from Wong and the shove from Jonathan Roy.
Yeah, just over 20 BB. So.
And nice to see a quick fold from Jerry Wong. Button raise didn't work. No point in sitting there Hollywooding. Just get rid of the hand.
Yeah, I like that.
Have to say, so far, I'm agreeable to the pace of the action, having seen some rather slow players at recent final tables.
You know, I think that part of it is that these are all guys that we haven't seen on a stage like this too often, and I don't think they're particularly jaded. I think once you sort of get used to it, then maybe you realize, you know, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to Hollywood a little bit. And I think these guys are probably still just playing pretty straightforward poker, and more importantly, probably don't want to do anything dumb on TV.
Hearing about João Nogueira, Stephen J on Twitter says that ROI is incredible and shows it can be done. We've got Tom Fredericks, who says watching PCALive, waiting for some major action, and of course, that all-important password for the PCALive free roll.
That is like the nicest way of asking for it that I've ever heard. Very gentle, very subtle. Nice work. You can't have it yet, though.
And hello to one of our regular viewers, Christian in Scotland, who says looking forward to another all-nighter on the live stream.
I like Shatulov's shirt. Very hip.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice, right?
How would you describe that? Honeycomb?
Interesting.
That last hand, raise and take it for Shatilov.
Yep.
And when there's raise and take it, we don't always get a chance to see the cards that people are folding. But again, I think the relative inexperience of the people at this table, I think people are going to be pretty tight looking to ladder up. And there's your boy Phil Hellmuth.
Well, that's Vanessa Selfs too, huh?
And Vanessa Selfs in focus.
We are
Andres Nemeth.
We are hearing on our poker wire that Phil Hellmuth has just been eliminated from the high roller tournament.
He looks calm.
I
Yes,
think that his tirade days might be a thing of the past. He's been very calm the last bunch of times I've seen him.
Don't taunt him, Deeb.
They're going to try to get an open-faced Chinese game going right there on a cocktail table.
So let's recap the action here. Owen Crow
round 3
has made a min-plus raise to 130,000. Jerry Wong picked up ace-queen in the hijack.
He's obviously not folding. He's got options here. He can 3-bet or he can just call, having position on Crow. I think most players are going to opt to 3-bet here.
Yeah, especially against Crow's stack. Because, you know, like 50 big blinds deep, it's going to be tougher and tougher to 4-bet. If he doesn't have anything.
It's just a call in this spot, though.
Let's see if anyone picks up a hand after him. Looks like Roy has folded the cutoff.
Yeah, but the stacks behind him aren't that short, so I don't think, you know, they're going to shove that often. Maybe squeeze, yeah. Maybe.
One reason Wong can just call here is he thinks that, you know, maybe Crow will just completely barrel off even if he misses. And he might think ace-queen is too strong of a hand to 3-bet. And this is exactly the kind of board that Wong can just station with ace-queen.
And the Crow will c-bet.
Bingo.
And he checks.
Does Wong want to win it here, or does he want to get to cheap showdown?
That's what I was thinking. What's the value in betting here? If he does bet, by the looks of things. 105,000. And a quick fold from Owen Crow.
Again, I think any number of things could have happened after that bet, but just I wouldn't expect too many crazy moves right now. Now, having said that, the blinds are going up at about 40 seconds. That will change things slightly. Everyone will be stacked just a little less deep. And as James was pointing out before we got started today, the ante doubles in 30 seconds, which is actually a fairly decent factor here.
On the live stream, I mean.
So what do you mean by sometimes? Like,
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Every hand is shown.
Significant, yes.
But every hand is shown on the live stream, right?
That is correct.
So then, every...
40-minute delay.
so you'll know what I had pretty soon.
No, I know, but there was a flop on that one, but I mean,
Yes, every hand.
every hand should.
That's, you know,
Well, that's what I'm at. Anyway, I'll find, yeah.
We'll be showing every hand, but we don't catch all of the hole cards, to be more specific.
So hand number 8 at the final table.
No, and they had the live feed. If there was no flop, they didn't show the hole cards. That was the only time they showed the hole cards.
We do things differently here, sir.
Yeah, okay.
That was a walk for Danchev in the big blind. By the way, I think we should say very quickly, thank you to everyone who voted for EPT Live in the Bluff Magazine Reader's Choice Awards. We were thrilled, honored to be named your favorite web-based poker show.
And I know all of the 10,000 times I voted for us, I meant it.
Wow, how'd that happen?
9 of hearts.
Big bounce.
Raise. 120.
120,000.
Min raise from Jerry Wong. Chip leader makes it 120,000.
And he is looking for some action.
Danchev looks interested. What's he got in the small blind?
We don't know what he has.
We don't know what he has, but we know
Ah.
he just called
What?
out of the
Stack
small
of green in
blind
the back.
with a 20 big blind stack.
What the hell? That's new to me. Maybe I have to like
Maybe this
rethink my game.
is some kind of pre-flop float is the best thing I can think of.
Well, Shashalov's come along for the ride as well with pocket sevens. Wong does have the king of clubs in his hands, so shouldn't be too worried about that flop.
Now it looks like we've had second thoughts about Danchev's hole cards. There we go.
Oh my god.
He has flopped the nuts.
Things are gonna get real ugly.
I was
for
gonna
Jerry
say
Wong.
Wong's running good, but oops.
Everyone's got at least one club. Now let's not count out Shadowloff, okay? He's got 2% equity here. Still 2 cards to come.
Action has been checked to the pre-flop aggressor. And Jerry Wong continues.
Now how does Danchev play this?
175,000.
The bet is 175,000.
Now we know it probably won't, but he might think if another club comes, it's gonna kill his action.
Well, Danchev's stack is not too big, so I hope he's just gonna. Well, for him, he could do anything because it's gonna go in probably. But
I mean, with
I
his
think
stack,
calling would be fine here.
with his stack, I think we're all slightly surprised that he didn't get it all in pre, right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Whoa! Check his hands.
A little nervous.
Hello. Oh, I hope Wong's paying attention there.
He's gotta be so mad at himself that he shook that much.
He raises to 430,000.
I mean, and how do you even interpret that hand shaking that much? Do you interpret it as you're nervous because you're about to run a huge bluff or because you have the nuts? Like, even if you're leaning toward the guy really loving his hand, can you get away from this? It would just have to be an absolute soul read.
It would make me think, though, if a guy with 20 BBs calls pre-flop and then check raises the flop. I mean, with that stack, he started the hand with like 20 BBs. I mean, he can't. He looks kind of committed. So what? You have to make the decision for the entire pot now because you know he's going to shove the turn.
This would be an absolutely sick laydown.
Yeah.
All in.
He shoves.
Call.
Cool.
Danchev calls.
Yeah, and we got the head shake from Wong.
Yeah.
After you make that move, you're just like, obviously that's what he had.
Oh well, otherwise it would have gone in pre-flop anyways.
97% chance that Danchev gets the double up here through the chip leader. Or should I say, former chip leader.
You want to chop the pot?
Sure, I'll chop it.
He's still chip leader, I think, after this.
If he loses this pot, I believe Joel Micker will take the
Oh
total
yeah,
chip lead.
yeah, Joe Mickey.
And he is going to lose this pot. And Danchev will double up.
Wow.
They turned me every single time.
Looks like Danchev maybe just decided he was going to call out of the small blind and see if he hit the flop, and he hit it.
So by virtue of that double up, Wong is now down to 5.4 million and Micker becomes the chip leader. An observation that Michael Ross just made on Twitter, remember the hashtag to use is PCALive. We've got Dion, who won the F-Tops main event last month. Shatilov is a Supernova Elite. And JM Prodigy, our new chip leader Joel Micker, is a high-stakes heads-up sit-and-go regular. This is a stacked final table.
It's kind of appropriate for the PCA to have a bunch of young, relatively unknown talent out there. I think that this can be a great stage for someone to break out, for sure.
It's usually a pretty strong field, though, I think.
I think stronger this year probably too than in other years.
10,000 antes and 40.
It's a confirmation that with the blinds going up to 40-80 with a 10K ante, no one has more than 100 big blinds. Jonathan Roy at the bottom of the leaderboard with 20 bigs. Danchev up into third after that double up.
Gotta wonder what his plan was if he missed the flop, though. And how often he'll continue to just call. Or he doesn't really need to worry about it anymore, but how often he would have continued to just call with a 20 big blind stack.
I think he would have just folded.
How long can you do that? How long can you call fold for? 'Cause You're
Not
sup-
very
you're
long,
not
so that's
supposed
why a
to
lot
hit-
of
you're not
people
sup-
just shove there.
Right, you're not supposed to hit that flop.
Big Mickey observes on Twitter, poker seems so easy in spots like that. And Mickey says, love the commentary. Thank you very much. Those of you asking for the password for the free roll, we will give out that information a bit later on.
Can I tell them something that's not the password?
Is it a hint to it?
Nope. Just one word in the universe that isn't the password. James. The password is not James. We're going to work our way through all of the words that aren't the password first. So hang in there. It's going to be a long day.
Danchev has button raised with King Queen, and Shatilov has Ace 10 in the small blind. Looks like a 3-bet is coming.
Erase.
Re-raise from the small. To a total of 380,000.
It's re-raised to 380,000.
How much you started, Ken? About
3.3 maybe.
3.3?
Owen Crow's given up the big blind. Danchev verifying how many chips his opponent has.
Seems like a pretty okay spot to just call. You're in position. You've got a hand that makes a great top pair.
Well, judging from what the hand before this, he probably will just
That's
call.
right.
Or he's getting overconfident.
I think sometimes you can sort of...
Come on.
Oh, boy.
Oh, overconfident.
And it worked. Wow.
Nice.
I think there's all kinds of extra leveling that goes on once you've just doubled up. People maybe don't want to give you credit. They think you're automatically kicking into high
Definitely.
gear. Then you think that's what they're thinking.
And then they still fold if they had
Yeah,
to be.
which is weird.
Well, we mentioned the guy who's here for $1.10. We mentioned the guy who got here for 750,000 FPPs. Dimitar Danchev won a satellite on PokerStars for $700. And of course, we remember him from that final table in San Remo in Season 8. He was heads up against Andrei Patichuk. They actually chopped, so he took 600,000 euros for that second place finish.
Who would think the guy that got in for $700 satellite isn't even one of the top ROI earners at this table?
Raise.
160.
Suited one gappers for Joel Mika. The chip leader raises. Shatilov on the button has ace-jack.
Three bet folded ace-10 out of position. Looks like just a call in position.
Call from the button. We'll get it up to small blind.
How much you playing?
Air release is this big.
About 3 million. What did you say?
3 million right
3 million?
Come on, that was pretty clear. Well, Mika flops about as good as you possibly can with 8-6.
And with that draw, he will continue. 175,000. Shatilov, with 2 overs, in position. Could conceivably call and see a turn card.
Problem is, if you call here, you're likely to be facing more and more bets.
He does call. And there is an 8 on the turn. Mika now with a pair to go with his draw. Way in front, 86% favorite. And now with showdown value, he checks. Shatilov checks behind. Do you value bet in Mika's spot?
Looks like he thinks it's pretty safe to value bet. He's made a pretty good read here, I think, that Shatilov probably has just some kind of ace high.
Nice value bet.
380,000.
Shatilov just has to figure out how often he thinks Mika is going to be doing this with a hand that's actually losing to ace-jack. This board is all over all kinds of suited connectors. Andre eventually does fold the loser. Now these guys keep chanting JMP, and I'm sorry guys, I am a fan of Joel Mika so far, but there's only one JMP in my book, and that's Juan Manuel Pastor.
Really?
That's right, JMP.
He's a nice guy.
So if this kid wants the JMP nickname, he's gonna have to earn it.
We're good for now.
It's nice though to see some people railing, you know? It's always, I found it like, well, disappointing that in poker, because it's so tough, well, it's not really a sport you can watch, that like not many people are, you know, supporting it, and, you know, like the fans have to just sit behind the computer to watch what's going on, really. It's nice to see that people that really care actually go there.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of meat to live poker.
No, it
There's
sucks.
not a lot to latch onto, but you know, when you really care a lot,
Yeah, they obviously do.
it makes a huge difference. Find plenty to get emotional about.
I'd like my friends to just check the the
You
live
don't want
stream.
them- you don't want them
no,
there
check
live?
the live stream and tell me what's been going on after.
Quick reminder, by the way, that we are commentating live over a picture that was actually recorded around 45 minutes ago, so we are obviously watching the action on a delay. But the fact that we are commentating live means you can still get in touch with us on Twitter and on email. And we've got an email here from Patrick in Austria to nuts@pokerstars.tv. Glad to see yet another live stream from the PCA, but, there's always a but, who is the genius that scheduled the PCA main event final table on the day of the NFL playoffs? Multi-tabling streams for the win. Absolutely multi-screen, multitask.
We
That's the
actually,
solution.
we wrote to the NFL and tried to see if they would push things a week. We did not hear back, which I thought was rude.
That's really rude and stupid of them too,
Right?
right?
It's just, you know, we're all in this together, and what's the big deal? It's what's one more week. I don't know. I don't know about some people these days.
Raise.
Hand number 13 of the final table. Action was folded to Andrei Shatilov, and he raises. Shatilov, the Supernova Elite player who's bought in for 750,000 FPPs. Inge Kristoffersen pointing out on Twitter that he doesn't recognize any of the face at this table, so wants more information about them. So as they get involved in hands, we'll tell you a little bit about these guys.
Owen Crow from Canada went super deep in the main event a few years ago. Finished 15th, I believe. He's made 4 final tables since then.
And when you say main event, you mean World Series
That's
main
right,
event.
the World Series of Poker main event. Now, what do you do here? It's been raised and then 3-bet. King Jack suited. Just typically the right fold. Did have the best hand
What
here.
did you start the hand with?
2-8.
Hello.
Joel Micker plays as JMP Prodigy Online. He's the current tournament chip leader.
And this is a perfect spot for him to get another bet in.
Joel's had numerous live results. He won the Macau Poker High Roller event.
Re-raise.
Cashed in last summer's World Series main event. Oh, and those guys on the rail cheering him on, they're fellow Supernovas who have a cut of his action.
And I think even in position, it's kind of tough to justify making a call here. You're going to be dominated a lot. You might think that Mika just thinks this is such a nice looking spot for a 4-bet, but you can't give him credit.
He's check folding the 4-5 on that dry board as well. So, is he really gonna, like, I don't think he can ever call here.
I don't think so. I think if you think he's getting out of line, you just have to shove.
Yeah.
But then...
And I don't think he'll
yeah,
do that.
No, and when you get called with King 10, your equity's probably not very good usually.
And the longer he waits, the more he's going to realize that shoving doesn't look
Isn't going to look very strong.
strong. But
There it goes. Coconut water, I assure you.
look at that.
Let's go, baby. Stay classy, San Diego. Or at least bring some in here.
James Haskin and Joe Stapleton joined at the moment by Fatima Maria de Melo.
Thank you.
Seahawks fan? Yeah, story checks out. I'm going to be joined by a member of the PokerStars blog team very soon, actually. He'll bring us up to date with how this tournament has progressed, because obviously we started 6 days ago with 987 entries. These are just the final 8. So we'll get the story behind the tournament from Rick Dacey.
Ah, Shatilov's picks up 10s.
Newman raises.
I keep thinking Shitalov. It's really bad. I know, it's bad, but it just...
I was wondering how long it would be before I had to give you the yellow card, Fatima.
Yeah, well, it's usually a straight up red.
She actually dropped an F-bomb earlier. We were just kind of talking over it.
Did I?
Yes. I like how you don't even know. Don't do it. You're going to get me fired. They'll never fire you. You're
Why not?
You're America's sweetheart.
America's
speaking of,
sweetheart. I'm
it's
Dutch.
It's just a,
Hey,
it's just
Vanessa.
a term.
is
Vanessa
a big
with
stack.
2 giant racks that I'm sure she'll take great joy in punting later.
What did you say?
Punting, Vanessa. Every time she goes broke in a tournament, it's like, I ran a huge bluff, didn't work.
At this
Yeah.
point in time, by the way, and bear in mind this is 45 minutes ago, 48 players remain in that high roller. And of course, we'll bring you the final table of that tournament tomorrow here on PokerStars.tv. Our coverage starts at 2 Eastern.
So, Fatima, remember in San Remo when you gave me the 3rd degree about me taking my ex-girlfriend to Holland?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was like a little sort of freaked out by that, even including when I landed in Holland. And the first thing I saw when I got off the plane, like I was kind of like shaking my fist at you, like, oh, Fatima. First thing I saw was a giant advertisement with you on it. You staring me right in the face as soon as I got there. I was like, this.
You don't like third degrees?
No, I don't. I like giving the third degree.
Ah, okay.
Speaking strictly as an observer, it was awesome to watch. Button raised from Joel Nicker with ace-jack.
5.
Called by João Nogueira.
Yes, yes.
Nogueira's got a decent hand to defend with, but he is dominated.
So Nogueira won a $1.10 sit and go, which got him a seat in a $10 qualifier, which got him the 16K package here to the Caribbean.
Fatima just waved her hand, I think, to indicate that Nogueira should just get out of here.
Yep.
Okay, Joel Nicker extends his chip lead close to 8 million in chips now.
So Fatima, what was that advertisement for? Was it for like some kind of soap or shampoo?
Didn't you look
Jewelry?
at it properly? Yeah, jewelry.
No, I didn't
You
get
looked
a chance
away
to see
because
it.
you...
I didn't see much of it after I drew the mustache on it. I had to run out of there pretty quickly.
Wasn't it up high on a pole? Did you climb that pole?
No, actually, it was in a bus shelter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does anybody have a Thailand flag?
No, it was for jewelry. And face for their brand.
Did you get free jewelry when you did it?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Well, just all sorts of stuff.
All sorts. They just gave you like a treasure chest full of
No, I could choose what I want.
brooches and tiaras.
Yeah, I chose 3 tiaras, pink diamonds.
Not bad.
Yep, I wear them when I play.
I wasn't with anyone yet, so I couldn't go. See that model there? She berated me on a live broadcast.
But what
less
was
than
the
24 hours
What was
ago.
the problem with that, though?
The problem was that I was talking to some other girl at the time, and she heard that I was going with my ex-girlfriend, and things did not end well between us.
Ah,
Good job, Fatima.
yeah. I'm glad I gave you the third degree then.
Joel Nicker's raised from the cutoff, King 10. And
Fatima,
gets no action to wins the blinds and antes.
if Fatima can't have me, she wants no one else to. That's the problem.
Exactly.
I said no, Fatima.
Well, you didn't really mean it, I don't think.
Hello to Matic on Twitter, who says, thanks to PokerStars and the team for a nice live stream and very nice commentary, hoping for a great final table. And then we've got Zalara, who says, I've actually just opened a Twitter account just so I can message you. Been watching all of the live replays on PokerStars.tv. Nice to actually finally watch one live.
That actually happens to me a lot, but it's usually someone who creates a Twitter account to tell me how much they hate me.
Wonder why. Your ex-girlfriends?
Yep.
How was your trip with your ex-girlfriend, by the way?
Their parents,
How was the trip?
their boyfriends after that.
How's the trip?
The trip?
I think he's taking the 5th on this one.
I don't even remember the trip.
Hold it around to the button. Nogueira will pass, so blind on blind. Danchev in the small, 3-4 suited.
He's already won.
Joel Nicker getting huggy. I think he
I like
actually
it.
flew in some family members. That might have been who he's hugging, someone he's seeing for the first time today.
His mum and dad flew in today. They were meant to land at 11:45, but their flight got delayed because no plane ever takes off on time for Nassau Airport. So they got here just in time to see the lion's share of this final table. Uh-oh.
Danchev has raised quite a bit. 380,000.
Runs into a big hand. Shatilov shoves on him, and Danchev quickly folds.
I think that was a bit of a misstep there. That's one of those situations where you can get the exact same amount of information from a much smaller raise.
Quick question from Hawk on Twitter about the high roller tomorrow. Will it be delayed with cards or actually live? Again, same process. The picture is delayed by around 40 to 45 minutes, but Joe and I and the rest of the guys will be coming in on commentary duties. We'll be speaking to you live. So you're seeing the picture the same time as us, so you can still chat to us or open new counts to berate Joe.
You know what happened in Amsterdam a lot that I was not a fan of? They
What?
charge you to go to the bathroom now in a lot of bars and clubs. Like there's a bathroom attendant that demands money of you before you go in.
Yeah. Oh,
That
when
was-
you really have to go and then
Yeah.
you have to like.
So like you don't have
Go
the
through your
option of like
pockets.
not washing your hands and not tipping the person, which is what I usually do.
Yeah.
But instead now you have to leave a tip on your way in. which I thought was.
which is smart of them.
That's quite common in a lot of European countries.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Makes me feel cheated. I'm way likely to give more money, by the way, if I'm not forced to. But I guess most
Are
people
you?
aren't.
Yeah, but a lot of people are really cheap.
This time Danchev has a hand and he's raised the button. Shatilov has folded the small blind and Owen Crow has given up the big blind.
No action.
Well, you commented earlier on Mr. Shatilov's t-shirt.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say it, but then I was like, well, I'm gonna, you know.
I need some kind
Thread.
of
Candle.
bread.
Thread.
Thread. It's just
Some rope.
thread. It's a cargo net.
Handmade, I think.
Like
He's been
200
fishing here.
something.
I know some of you on Twitter have worked out the free roll password. It is DiBella. Yes, that's right. It is the name of last year's champion. It really was that easy. DIBELLA if you want to get registered for that free roll starting a bit later on today.
Who is that? DiBella?
Still a captain.
Remember that guy?
Doesn't ring DiBella.
That's a yellow card as well, right? Come on.
Yes, John DiBella took this thing down last year.
Wong's been quiet, huh?
Yeah, after losing the chip lead.
Yeah.
That was raise and take it for Dimitar Danchev.
It's a momentum thing too, a bit.
Like 3-bet. I sized it like 3-bet.
I always find it's kind of a relief after you double someone up if you just don't pick up any hands, at least for like the next couple hands. You don't have to worry about making your decisions based on tilt or trying to get those chips back.
True, very true.
Obviously, you don't want to be card dead the rest of the tournament, but taking a few hands off, folding with impunity is always welcome.
We've got the Canadians and the Americans on the rail. Where are the Portuguese?
There are some Portuguese guys here. I've seen them, but probably on the beach. A nice day today.
Yeah, we'll be in it a little while. We're going to catch some sun first. Let us know if you win.
I've just been advised that João Nunes is on the rail, so there's at least one Portuguese supporter there. That's good to know.
How many other Jiaos are out there?
It's like James or Joe.
Dion has raised with deuces under the gun +1. Jonathan Roy in the big blind.
Is he gonna show?
Jonathan Roy was the champion of the World Poker Tour Montreal main event last year. Won himself $755,000 in that tournament. So you know Randy Lou likes to play a lot of tables at once, and normally he plays them online, but here he's playing 5 heads-up matches at the same time, and the first person to beat him will win a PokerStars promotional watch. Any of the 5 that beat him get free entry into one of the T-Coop events.
I hope that the promotional watch has an alarm and the noise is the alert you get when it's your turn to act. Get on that, PokerStars, fat cat. I wonder if Randy Lou plays super fast, if he'll get sick to his stomach and puke out there. All that spinning.
I still wish that they would show all the folds as well. All the cards that the guys are folding.
Yeah, it would be.
I'd like to know their range.
Right, if we want to know that they're folding ace-10 offsuit and queen-jack suited.
I just want to know.
Shatilov with suited connectors, raises from the hijack. Wong with the decision on the button. By the way, I'm sure many of you have spotted Jonathan Duhamel on the rail there. As we mentioned earlier on, he railed his good friend Jonathan Roy when he won that WPT event in Montreal, and he's back here today, having busted the high roller, to sweat Jonathan Roy once again.
We raise. 375.
He's not going to see much action from Roy, I don't think, except for a reshove or shove. Still nice of him, though. I think Jonathan's a really nice guy.
I think he's one of the nicest. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really
Jonathan's-
genuine.
He's one of those guys that was immediately accepted on the scene as, you know, as the ambassador, and was just one of poker's A-list almost immediately, and he couldn't be a more inviting, fun person
Yeah.
to have on the tour. You know, a great ambassador. He's one of those guys that makes you, he's the reason why you want to play. You want to be just like him.
Shatilov calls the 3-bet out of position. So these guys are going to play a flop. Jack 7 deuce with 2 clubs.
Could be a worse flop for Shatilov. He did flop a gut shot.
And a backdoor.
Backdoor spades and all black.
Wong ace queen with the ace of clubs.
And the betting lead.
Action's been checked to him.
Wong taking his time to decide whether or not he wants to c-bet.
It feels like we're hearing his nose, like we're hearing his breathing.
Yeah, his microphone's right up
Yeah,
under his nose.
I think I'm hearing that, right?
I'm not really sure what would make his decision-making process this long. This board is going to connect with a decent part of people's ranges, you know, hands like 8-9 suited and 9-10 suited and queen-jack suited, stuff like that.
So Wong's c-bet is 410,000. How does Shatilov respond with this draw?
That was less than half the pot. What is Shatilov doing?
What the?
He's just calling.
Wow.
I would say that is not recommended unless you're going to make a big play on the turn, whether you hit it or not. Oh, but you don't have to worry about not hitting it because you could just bink the straight.
Holy shit.
Fatima!
No big deal. He
Holy
flat calls
Shatilov,
with,
right?
There you go, holy Shatilov. He just calls and binks the straight on the turn.
Yeah, you always have to call with a gut shot on the flop, you
Wong
know, out of position.
Wong's got just ace high. He has to know that's not a very good card for him.
Nah, I think he'll just check behind, right?
Yeah, Shatilov has checked a second time.
Now Wong has also picked up a gut shot. Maybe he can re-bink.
I don't think he can ever.
All in.
What?
OMG. That was definitely the Wong move here.
And
Yellow
Shatilov
card.
calls very quickly.
Cool.
Wong's already doubled up one player at this final table. Looked like he's about to double up another.
This is going to be a shame.
He needs a king on the river. A king would eliminate Shatilov, of course. So 4 cards that Shatilov has to fade to get that double up to 6.5 million and be second on the leaderboard behind Joel Micker. The river is a deuce. So Wong, who came in to this final table as the chip leader after 21 hands, is now the shortest stack, the second shortest stack, I'm sorry, with 1.9 million.
Now, if you remember the super high roller, James, where Doc Sands came to the final table as a bigger chip leader than this. He had like 45% of the chips in play, and he played very passively, and he didn't do what you would expect the chip leader to do. Now we've got Jerry Wong doing this, what you would expect the chip leader to do, put tons of pressure on people, and he's just getting aggressive at really bad times for him. And Doc Sands, while he didn't do that, avoided this, avoiding being the guy to double people up left and right, which is exactly what Wong's done so far.
So
Yeah.
Shatilov up to 6.5 million. As I said, second in chips behind Jolmika. Jerry Wong playing 24 big blinds now, 7th on the leaderboard. Fatima, I'm not showing you the red card, but our time is up, unfortunately, so we have to bid you adieu.
Oh, yeah?
What a bummer.
Oh, what a bummer. I have to lie in the sun now. Shit. Well, have fun, you guys.
Now I am giving you the red card. Get out.
You had 10 more seconds, but we're pulling them. Bye, Fatima.
Guys. Bye, guys.
Fatima Maria de Mela from Team PokerStar Sports Star. Always a pleasure having Fatima here, even with her potty mouth.
I think she's more of a pleasure with her potty mouth, I'm not going to lie. Jerry Wong must be reeling right now.
To say it's a horrible start to the final table for him is an epic understatement. And Shatilov still stacking those chips.
Such a great problem to have. I hope to experience it one day.